and welcome to the last tutorial in the Surrealism project. The objective of this tutorial is to tell you how to make your objects look like there's depth. So one of the objectives was to show that your objects have space. There's space in this image. It's just not flat. So there are some tricks to make your objects look like they are farther away than other objects. There's many different ways to do that, and I'm going to show you a few. Right now I have a little simple scene. Now the first thing I'm going to do, let's deal with the elf on this side. So I want him to look like he's a little tucked away behind these bushes. So I will click on his layer and I'm going to lower the opacity so that I can see through behind him. I'm going to get an eraser. And I'm picking a soft brush. And then I'll just erase away where there are some branches. So this branch comes down here. And then once I'm done, up the opacity of that layer. And that shows depth. You can see that the elf is behind the tree. So if I just stuck it there and didn't erase something like that, it doesn't have that illusion. Now, another thing to look out for is this white spot right here on the layer. That should be erased. You can erase it, or you can use your quick selection brush. This is too big. Make sure the brush is small enough. Click in the white spot and then press delete. I can clean that up more. Look, yeah, I don't want that. But you get the idea that that gives it more of the illusion. That it actually belongs there and there's some depth to it. Now another thing I can do, notice how the elf is in a shadow. It's much darker over here. So staying with that layer, I want to darken the elf too. And how we're going to do that is go up to Image, go down to Adjustments, and I'm going down to Photo Filter. Photo filters, you can add different filters on top of a layer. There's a warming filter, which makes it look warmer, but this is cooler. So I'm going to pick one of the cooler filters. Now if you add too much blue, it mixes with the red and makes it purple. So I want to add a little bit of a blue tinge, not too much. So it darkened it a little bit from this. So it's a little bluer, like it's in the shadow. That's a little bit better. I would prefer it to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go up to Brightness and Contrast. I'm going to lower the brightness. I'm going to bring it down. He's in a shadow. Here, I like that. Much better. It doesn't stand out quite as much. He's in a shadow. Now another thing to do is to check the edges. See the little white around the edge? There's a clear edge, and that's a dead giveaway that this has been cut and pasted into there. So I'm going to zoom in, get the eraser. I'm just going to come in and get rid of that white. Things don't have bright, glaring white edges in the real world. So just get rid of that. That's much better. Now it has some around this too. You could go around the whole thing. Clean up all the edges. I'm not going to do it all, just for the sake of time. But if you get rid of some of these edges, it just helps. Makes it look more realistic and also adds to that depth effect, placing it back there. Okay, now we have the elf in the background. Let's go to him. Now, things that are farther away from you, and it depends how far, will get more blurry. Things that are very far away, say a mountain range, will actually turn blue because of atmospheric perspective. There's atmosphere in between you and the distant object, and there's dust, and so things will look bluish. It also depends on the light. But they're also softer and more blurry. So what I need to do with this elf is I'm going to click on that layer, go up to filter and go down to blur and go to Gaussian blur. Now that is way too blurry. You just want a little bit of blur. And even that's too much. That's 0.8. I'll go to 0.3, so that's better. It's further away, it's a little blurry. I also want to darken that. I don't want it so bright. Go back to up to image adjustments, brightness, and bring the brightness down. Click OK, and then also go to the photo filter. Pick one of the cooling filters, make it a little bit more blue. Now he's kind of hovering. I want to place him down on the ground. Now he's on the ground, but he still looks like floating because, see all these shadows? Trees have shadows from the light. He has no shadows. So I'm going to go over to the layers palette and add a new layer, move it underneath the elf, get a brush, a soft brush again, not that big. What I'm going to do is play around with a shadow. Okay, I have a blue color. I can, yep, let's stay with that. I can change it. Now all these shadows are going away from the sun. They're going this way. I didn't like how it was coming out round. I want to follow these other shadows. So I erase some. Now I'm going to get my brush again, maybe make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's very big. How do I know how to do this? It's trial and error. I know some of the theories of depth from painting and drawing, how to make things look realistic. And then as far as learning Photoshop, the tools, use the theories that you know and just apply them with the digital tools. But it comes with following other tutorials and a lot of trial and error and practice. I'm going to make this. I know I'm getting very finicky and picky. I'm just softly erasing some of the top there. Okay, yeah, so we get far away. See, now there's a shadow for that one. This guy doesn't need a shadow because he's in the shadows. I also gave this boat, I had already done it. This boat I gave a shadow too. Let me see the boat layer underneath there. I colored that in blue. Now another thing in the boat layer is what I need to do is get rid of these extra edges here because they really stand out. And because it's sitting in snow, it's all right if it's not perfect because it could be sitting down in the snow. When you have a sharp outline around an object, that's a dead giveaway that it doesn't go in there. So that's not too bad. They look like they fit in there. The colors have changed. Now something else that you can do to make this fit is give the whole thing a filter. You go an adjustment of a photo filter. So above your layers palette, there's an adjustments panel. Click on photo filter and drag this layer to the top. Now whatever color I pick here, it's going to add it to everything. So see, I added that pink to everything. That also adds to the illusion of the surrealism, making it look real, like it all belongs, by changing the color. So I could change that to purple. Let's stick with the blue because it's a cool world. Yeah, let me really gonna up the blue like that. So before, after. Okay, I hope this tutorial helps you make your photos look a little bit more real by helping add some depth to your project. See you next time.